saw this weekend?
Yeah? How?
I had to, Ted. Sorry. It was just that we just had great camaraderie. Guys really rallied around one another. Guys lost themselves in the team. I think certainly anyone that was here in Watchak could sense that this group was here to fight together and won two different ways. Gave up a big lead and came back from a big deficit. So bottom line is we had two nice wins, and guys will gain some confidence from that.
How do you keep it going?
Just get ready for the next one. Certainly a lot of things to correct. I go back and watching the video and being critical of ourselves. There's a lot of things to work on. I think it's definitely easier almost, as players to come back and reevaluate after you win. It feels good to win, and you can go back and look at the little things that we're not doing well. And we didn't execute great offensively at times this weekend, and had some defensive breakdowns and critical moments, but overall, the spirit and the fight, the togetherness sustained and helped us get over the hump both nights.
Great second half and OT for y'all against Eastern. What did you say to you guys in halftime, Coach?
Not a ton, other than you got to win more possessions than we did the first half, and it's more about what they said to each other and how they stayed together, and even when we were down 15 with 16 to go. It was a positive bench. It was a bench that looked engaged and was ready for the next possession. So there wasn't finger pointing or heads hanging or shoulders slumping. And those are the scenarios and situations that divide a team as opposed to unite a team. And these guys were united throughout. And I didn't have to rally the troops necessarily at halftime. There were I thought we maybe lost some 50-50 balls in the first half that we could have got, so a little bit there, and some of the other little issues within our defense. But as far as their mindset, I felt really good about where they were at both games.
What were some of the things that the players said to one another, going down the stretch?
They're just rallying around each other. It was positive, was pushing each other, and they were working out issues on the floor in terms of some schematic things, X's and O's, and stuff they were working together on. And again, there wasn't negative connotation to any of it. It was very positive, and so I think we saw a lot of result from that was good.
What does that tell you about how this team is gelling together? So many new faces starting the season, and now you got on court, like you said, it's working things out.
It's just it is a pretty fresh unit, and you look at it. Not many guys have played conference games at all, period. So it's new to most of them, and being a team, and it takes time to gel and to create that. And I think you got to have some success along the way somewhere to create the confidence in one another. Those wins certainly do that for us.
Are they ahead of the curve there? In your mind?
I think we're back on the curve. I felt like we were really slipping going into the break. Unfortunately, we weren't necessarily ever quit competing. I felt that some losses we had there coming down the stretch, our guys competed to the end. We found ourselves in some holes, but they competed. The group's always been willing to compete, but I think it just needed to get a little tighter, and it's shown. You saw it just. Sometimes those things aren't necessarily visual, but just the way those guys were cheering for each other and excited for each other, accepting roles. Something like Paul says to me, "Hey, put Jeff in so we've got a better chance to win the tip in overtime." It's a teammate sacrifice and something to so we can win a possession or whatever. So that's the kind of stuff that excites you as a coach is when the guys are really believing in their teammates.
Brad, it's tough to move from high school to college. What about your freshman guard? Can you describe how he's improved and what he's meant to?
Yeah, Marcus is, he's college ready physically, and you know, he's learning the position at this level. He can do some things in high school that obviously is going to be harder for any guard. Making that adjustment to Division I basketball. There's just so many great players out there. But, you know, guys have a ton of confidence in Marcus, and he just keeps learning and getting better all the time. It's fun to have a guy that really listens and pays attention and wants to learn at that position. It's a tough spot for a freshman point guard to be in. It's like throwing a quarterback in as a freshman without a redshirt year. It's a difficult transition for kids, but I think Marcus has handled that well. It's you know, he's been in and out of the lineup a little bit based on personnel, and you know, none of it's deterred him. He's brought a great effort every day. He's very consistent. You know, and that's a personality trait you want in that position, is a guy that's always there and engaged, and not temperamental and up and down. It's just it's refreshing to have him as a freshman, you know, only a freshman playing that position, and somebody that we'll be able to lean on for a lot of years.
Coach, you guys kind of stumbled out of the gates to start the season, but you've gone 4-2 in your last 6. Is that kind of more representative of what you envisioned for this team, and why? Yeah,
you know, it just feels good to win games. I mean, I think you can't sit around and dwell on the losses or the wins. You got to move forward, especially in league play, because they're coming fast and furious now. And you know, so I knew this team was going to take a while to gel. And what shape or form that took is kind of still a work in progress. But I give credit to the players. They've rallied around one another. They've made some decisions on how they want to handle some things, and you know, that to me is a sign of maturity, and that we do have some leadership on this team. I think that was a question mark early on, and that the guys believe in each other. When you have, you know, the number of newcomers we've been faced with, and guys that are playing big roles, there's so much uncertainty, and you know, you combine the expectation of what you're hoping for when you get here with the reality of what it is. That's hard for a 20-year-old to really absorb and matriculate, I guess, and to analyze. So these guys have done a good job of that. You know, and the bottom line is that they're figuring it out together, and that's exciting.
What do we know about our next opponents, Northern Colorado and North Dakota?
Well, we're on the road. Challenges, you know, you go in the league, it's always on the road. It's tough. Northern Colorado has, you know, such a large number of returners from last year, experienced, good players. North Dakota is a new opponent, and I don't know much about them yet. Obviously, we'll really be busy preparing for that game throughout the week. But I just know, you know, at some point we're going to have to win some road games.
Does the way that your guard rotation played the last couple games, especially on defense, does that kind of, you know, give you confidence, bode a little well going into the UNC game, because, you know, their strength is their guard play? Well,
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that's their only strength. They have very legitimate post players, and obviously their guards have been productive. So, you know, it's been a team effort in terms of what we've tried to do defensively. You know, at times it's an individual having to make plays, but we've switched our defenses up in the last, you know, 4 games, and I think that's helped us. You know, we're not just sitting in one particular scheme that way. And again, you can only evolve so fast with a new group of guys, and we're still evolving. I mean, we're sitting in the offices and looking at all the different options we could go with, and just have to be careful because this group is still learning some foundation-based pieces of what we want to do. And you know, the tighter and better you are at those things, the better you'll